Hello, everyone. It's July 3rd, and we're doing just a short July 4th holiday podcast on the Love Foundry. And I might be solo. I don't know whether Taylor or Seb can join us today. I want to talk about because it's life gathers around you on holidays, on regular days, on days we don't expect it. Life is busy. And the world is getting more intense every minute. And this intensity is going to increase. It's going to increase because we're coming to the place where humanity has to break itself free of the chains of material existence, holding it down from a universe in which love is the active and dynamic energy that is used by all advanced spiritual life, which includes a lot of the universe, by the way, stuff that we don't really know much about right now because we're not very conscious of them and their daily existence. So, how do we do this? What's going on that we need to think about? And ask yourself these questions a little bit. Is there something more I could be conscious of through my day that would transform and change my entire life over a reasonably short period of time? And not just transform it, but transform it into something animated far more by the energy of love than without it. And the answer to that question is yes. Yes, resoundingly yes. So let's take a look at what we could possibly do. It's not the golden fleece, although that is what the golden fleece represents. It's not the Ark of the Covenant, although that's what it represents. It's actually the living energy of love that floods the entire world constantly on a daily basis, completely unconscious to most of humanity living their daily lives. And the way to implement that energy into our lives is by making ourselves conscious of it. Now, why does that work? That works because you are, and all human beings are, all sentient human beings, are a self-conscious, aware being. That's a remarkable state of human, well, not just human, but it is the human stage of evolution. When we reach a stage of evolution beyond the animal kingdom, we come to human kingdom. And that stage requires self-conscious awareness of the universe, of life, and that includes love. Now, you don't just get it automatically on this particular planet. On this particular planet, you have to work for it. That's the karma of this planet, and that's what we're up against. Now, you are conscious and aware of will, which comes with you automatically. You get hungry and you're willing to eat something, willing to look for something to eat, willing to kill something to eat it. So that's love acting through will to get you going. And you are conscious of intelligence. You can figure things out because it's available throughout nature, everywhere, and it's up to you to apply it to yourself and grow more and more conscious of it and more developed in it until you can build a city and then blow it up. So intelligence and will are definitely on the table. Now, invisible to us, love is also on the table because it's already here. It's like magnetism. The air you breathe in, it's here, but you may not be aware of it. And the mechanism of consciousness is a very unique and remarkable thing. When you put something into that consciousness and hold it there, it has impact to the degree of what it is and how it operates. Put hate in the consciousness and act on it, and what happens? Things go to shit in a hurry, don't they? Put anger in there, put gratitude in there, put peace in there, put whatever you want in your consciousness and hold it there, and the dynamic activities of love itself will start to manifest and animate it through our nature. We are a dynamic, animating, living being. So, the reason that love, if you look at the planet at the current state that it's in, and of things going wrong and things going sort of right, but dangerous all the time, you realize that love is fundamentally missing in a lot of manifestations. And if you knew the creative power that love possesses available to a human being to transform everything, then we'd realize just how much is missing. And as big as the job is, we got 8 billion people on the planet, and who knows how many waiting their turn. To get all of them holding love in their consciousness is a big damn job. No question about it. But it's a job that has been undertaken by the spiritual beings of this planet. And there are some really good ones, like the Buddha, like the Master Jesus, like other spiritual masters, like Maitreya, who is another Bodhisattva, like the Buddha, who is, by the way, embodying perfect love in himself as a world teacher at the moment, somewhere on the planet, unknown to us. But that's available. And now it takes a while for you to figure out that what I'm saying is actually quite true. It's not a secret. There are plenty of people who accept it as truth, although that doesn't make us, because we accept it as truth, doesn't make us very good at actually animating that particular energy in our nature. That takes each individual person putting themselves in a posture in relationship to love that it flows into, through, and out of our nature, into all the aspects of our life, to the dreams, the hopes, the prayers, the things that we love, to fill those with love and cause great positive emanation and effect takes a posture in relationship to love, which means you have to learn how to do that. And there's not an easy manual for that. There are manuals for doing that, and they've been around as long as humans have been capable of thinking about this or working on it. You don't actually have to think about it to work on it. But most of them are in languages unknown to humanity at this stage of the game, or very ancient teachings that don't seem to be being taught anywhere that we're familiar with, because we've reached such a material stage of our activity that anyone who hung a shingle out to teach that kind of activity with love wouldn't get a lot of customers. Believe it or not, we've lost our faith in this stuff. We've lost our hope in it. We've lost our sense of reality with it. And we've become so materialized that we might as well be a Walmart parking lot with a couple of blades of grass pushing up through the asphalt. So let's look at how we could do this if we were inclined to think in this direction, because it's time. A new system is coming into place, a new system that holds this understanding perfectly in its consciousness for us to practice with. And we have 2,500 years of Aquarian age coming into our neighborhood in order to bring this into humanity's activities at a level where it can be understood, received, and applied in a transformational way to human society. Now, when we do that, and we will do that because it's in the heart of every human being to want to do that, when we do that, life will change. The civilization we're in right now, which was not founded on love, even though some of it looks okay, it's not okay. The shakers and movers in these societies, even America and England and the places that we love, are filled with greed and selfishness and things that reject love just out of hand. Bam. And you can think that the socialist movements in these countries contain love, but they do not, because if you look close at them, you will see that they're not being offered to people, they're being imposed on people. In other words, you want to get a gang of people who run a country, to put a law into place that makes these things requirements and then force people to do them. This is not how love works, because you have free will, and love honors free will and never violates it. It doesn't mean that socialist utopia ideas are wrong. It's great if people can cooperate together, share together, not take more than they need. If they create abundance, share it with other people. These kind of philosophies are good, but they have to be enacted by free will. And the only way that's going to happen is when people realize the nature of love is in them, in their own heart, in their own nature, and that they don't need anyone else's stuff to have all of their stuff charged and animated by their own relationship to love. This is a dynamic and dramatic transformation from the idea of working for the man, inheriting money from someone else, stealing the shit you can, or otherwise getting your hands on resources that you don't now possess. Love is the creator of the universe, every single thing in it, out of an idea animating it from a source completely outside this universe. So, if you want to tap into that level of creative cooperation and joining, it's available, surprisingly, to a human being. And it makes the idea of talking to little aliens in their spaceships floating around as a junior class. Life is big, bigger than the universe, because there's something in life that created the entire universe out of its own thought, cosmic thought, and is animating it with its cosmic will, and that includes intelligence and love. And we, as a human race on this little planet, are not using the love aspect of that great creation to our advantage, which is a shame, because it's available. It's all over the place. It's in every rock, it's in every blade of grass, it's in every atom of the universe, it's in every human being, animal, plant, and otherwise. Every angelic being, every divine being, every solar being, every constellational being, every galactic being, whatever they are, however big they got, they carry this same creative power in them. And many of them animate with it. They aren't in argument with it. They don't violate it. They don't reject it. They don't drop bombs on their neighbors in the expectation that that will benefit their life, no matter what it does to the neighbors. So why would we do that? We do that because we don't have love as a conscious energy in our creative power, in our throat center, in our sacral center. We don't carry these creative energies in us in a usable and adaptable way at this stage of our development. So we have to go out and beat them up and steal their shit. And we do. We do it to a lot of people. We do it to other people. And a lot of people don't want to do that. They don't want to take advantage of other people's stuff. But they live in a government that doesn't know how to live without doing that. So they think they got to take the neighbor country's oil or their resources or their women or whatever it is they covet. So how do we get out of this mess? You get out of this mess by changing yourself. The world's not going to change until we change. And we've now come to a point, and the first change in that, we've now come to a point where it's time for that to change. It has to change, because life's not going to support us hating love anymore. We have to start ending that cycle, because it's creating too much karma for a little old planet like this. That's called by the spiritual leaders, some of them, the dark sphere. The dark sphere is that sphere we keep creating by acting against the laws of love and causing karmic fog that has to be redeemed by us and restored ourselves back to a more pristine state of relationship. So All of that is knowable, understandable, and actionable. But you have to start with realizing you're not doing it now. You're simply not. Now, we have loving thoughts towards other people. That's emotional thought. That's emotion being directed up into the mind, and the mind giving you back a pretty picture of how nice you feel about that person over there. It's not lie. You do. You actually like that person over there. But the power of love, which transforms and transmutes, which unifies and changes everything by its simple direct contact with other agencies, is missing. We haven't brought it to life in ourselves. It was introduced to us gradually over a long, long period of time, and then recently, a couple thousand years ago, by the Master Jesus, as a doable thing by him taking it into himself and then demonstrating it up to and including crucifixion or death, and then thereby releasing it into the system so the rest of us could come to know it. And after 2,000 years, we are coming to know it. But we still aren't applying it dynamically to our lives. And that's because we don't know very much about consciousness. We don't know very much about how those who have that in their consciousness and are applying it, how they do it. What makes angelic beings capable of expressing love through their actions and contacts? And how are we going to do that? Well, the Love Foundry, this is a first step that for us, I don't know what other people are doing. There's some wonderful first steps going on around the planet right now. We're just one little first step. But this is a step into taking on that lesson, not as a religion, not as a philosophy even, taking it on as a way of acting, a way of being, a way of living in the world, and then acting in conformity with that way of living until the power of love begins to show itself in our life in a way that says we're doing it right. It doesn't matter what you're doing, whatever sport, whatever academic enterprise, when you are doing it right, you know it. You know it because the results begin to appear within your expectations. If you're in a football team, you're winning games. You're starting to win some games because you're getting it right. So, how do we do it? Not by changing your intellect, not by changing your feelings, not by acting different than you're acting now. That's all our life. Our life is a personality, ego, living out expectations, desires, appetites, hungers, earning money with the things that we're doing. That's our daily driver. Everybody's got one, and it fills up all your time because it's your life. There's something you're not doing at exactly the same time. And you don't have to stop what you're doing to add the doingness that lets love live in your life. You don't have to quit being anything, even a jerk. You could be an anger-ridden, silly person. You can still turn and in any moment of your life add love to it by simply entering into a relationship within you to something that's not now interfering with your material choices. But to do that, you're going to have to open up a level of consciousness that reaches out and takes that and puts it in your daily experience. It's kind of like feeling good about your day while you're living out your day, even though the day may be as fucked up as it could possibly get. They towed your car. All these things are happening to you. You're like, Christ, I've got all this on my case. Now I got to go find the tow yard and get my car back. It's going to cost me hundreds of dollars. What the hell is going on in my life? But see, while all of that is going on, you can hold a joyful relationship to love. You can do that. It isn't easy. You don't like it, because who wants to feel good about having their car towed or any of the other myriad things that can happen to us? But love, you see, doesn't care. It really doesn't. All that activity in your life is being administered by your reciprocal relationship with life through your past. You're getting exactly what you deserve. You may not know that. And whether it's dharma, whether it's good stuff coming your way, winning the lottery, getting a job promotion, whatever it is, whether it's that or getting your foot run over by your neighbor's car, the first thought in a conscious mind is, what did I do to create that in my life? And what lesson can I learn so that I never have to experience that again? If every human being approached all the negative things that happen in their life with that kind of personal responsibility, instead of making themselves a victim of somebody else's act, then we would put ourselves way faster in alignment with love and way faster in harmony with cause and effect in our life, our personal life. Now, as big as the universe is life itself really dealing with us on that small and personal a level that you deserve to get a splinter under your fingernail? Yes, actually it is. And, it's the old biblical expression that not a sparrow falls, or whatever that all is. It's true. Love is everywhere. It's the tiniest thing in the universe when it's the sound of a meadowlark, and it's the biggest thing in the universe when it's two neutron stars crashing together. Nothing is accidental, and nothing is out of alignment except us. We are out of alignment with love because we consciously reject it. Who else is going to do that? Nobody with a brain would consciously reject love. And yet the human race is doing it constantly, consistently, moment to moment. Well, look. Oh, I just noticed there's a quite large spider hanging here, and I think we need to get you off of this. You go somewhere. Oh, hell, now he's running up my arm. Sorry, he's not that big, but he's big enough. So let's see if we can take you somewhere where you'll be less annoying. Pardon me, I'm going to liberate this little devil. I'll be right back. There's a way to pause this. Now, hopefully that worked. And the little spiders finding a new way to roam. Yes, even little creatures like that are empowered with love, although they have no consciousness of it. But we who do have a consciousness of it have an obligation towards them. And I think everybody sort of recognizes that, even though a lot of us will still squash the little bastards when we find them in our house because we have fear of them and fear of a lot of other things. I don't have a fear of that little guy, but there's some spiders I've run into that will certainly make your blood run cold. Yes, they can get big, and in the jungles where I have been in the past, they can build a web so strong that if you're cruising through it at night and you hit that web, the branches will bend before the web will break. And you always wonder to yourself, I wonder where he is. So, yeah, but back to love. So what you have to do to get straight to the work is you have to create a duality within yourself, which doesn't sound right. And the Buddhists hate it because they like unity. They don't like duality because duality is an illusion. It's always an illusion. And I'm not saying that it's not in this case, but we have fallen into illusion so deeply in it that we have to create a figment of our imagination of reality, which will look like illusion to you at the beginning because you can't see it. You don't know it well enough. You're not connected to it with your senses dynamically enough that it speaks for itself into your being. So you have to create a little sphere of reality in your life with love in it, joy in it, spirit in it, God in it if you want it, or anything else that's actually there in life. And then take your whole human life, which is unfortunately an enormous amount of illusion, because you have left love out of your formula while you built your business, while you built your relationships, while you built your house. So you have to hold your life, and then in a dual aspect to yourself, almost schizophrenic. Here I am with my human life, which is full of illusion and glamour and Maya. And I have to create this idea in my consciousness that includes love and let that grow like a seed, like planting a seed of love in your consciousness and asking it to grow, watering it, giving it gratitude, giving it a place to be in you. And if you hold those two and don't expect too much of yourself, let them be, there's something that starts to happen. And the more your commitment from this personality self, this ego self, links to that love self to cause it to be included in with you, the stronger the bond gets between the two. The greater that power will be that will start feeding it into your life and giving you more and more reality with it. You're going to have to prove to love that you really want that stuff, because you've already got a life built without it. And if you want to keep going with that, love's not going to interfere. But it's going to be very disturbing to take an estranged life from love and bring it into harmony with love. It creates a lot of stuff in ourselves. And it has to happen over a period of time, and you have to keep both going on until they both become very clear and very real. And then you let the two approach and start to merge, and you see how the reality, including love, starts to impact and transform and transmute and unify the illusionary life, the ego life, to that real life. And we, in between there, in the middle, the third point in it, the spirit being that we are, we have to grow into that until finally we have the memory of all of this life without love, and we have the reality growing in us of love, and we see how those two meet and merge, and what life going forward with love will become as we let go of life without it. That's a process. And that's a process that every single human being who is an individualized piece of the divine being has to put themselves through. Now, the system can send you to school. Your mom take you to school and drop you off and make you stay there with a bunch of hoodlums and tell you to learn how to read and write and learn arithmetic. But you have to take yourself through the school of love. No one's going to force it on you. As it becomes more available in our society and it becomes more of a recommendation from the people who are doing it, it'll be easier for us to choose it. But everyone has the right. Everyone has the right to say, I'm not ready for that. Maybe some other lifetime, maybe some other world, maybe some other future. But right now, I like being just the way I am. I don't want to change. Don't bother me with it. That is a human right. It's a divine right. It's a right that love respects. So I'm saying to you that when you enter a holiday, the 4th of July tomorrow, if you're in America, I don't know what goes on in other countries. Cinco de Mayo, I know about that. But if you get busy, just realize that no matter how busy you are, you have time and room in you to build this envelope inclusive of love and hold it in your conscious awareness above your intellect, because your intellect doesn't possess love, and it's not going to, not anywhere short of Armageddon, because matter can't contain it. That's why it eventually transforms and changes. So you have to hold it there. And you have to develop this relationship to this energy. And what a relationship it is, because there's nothing that love can't do. Absolutely nothing. And you are capable of being the recipient of all of its gifts to the degree that your imagination can expand, experience, and include them. So take a moment, open up your awareness, and realize it's right there. It's right there. Get used to it. Start making it a part of your sense of reality. Because when it becomes a part of your reality in a genuine and real way, you will be able to remember it as you're fighting your way through the illusion and the things that are causing problems in it for you. And if you look at the countries in the world that have not been doing that, not been cultivating love in themselves as a conscious effort of the group, you'll see how they're doing with it. Russia's had difficulty lately, if you'll notice. China's going down a rat hole quickly because its people have not had the good fortune of leaders that will inform them to turn their attention to love, and that totalitarian mindset destroys the religions and the philosophies and the brotherhood, shared camaraderie like Buddhism that will allow those things to grow in their people. And so what you end up with is low moral initiative in people. You don't have people that understand that love is a part of their anatomy. It's a part of the expectation of your life. So you see those countries suffering. They're going to suffer a lot. Countries that have more development with love will probably do better in the time that's coming into the world, because they'll be quicker to apply it to their world difficulties. Now, you may wonder how love could hold back the ocean in Holland, where those people hold back the tide itself in a rising ocean, but it can. It can do anything we can imagine. And it has done an amazing amount of things through human history up to now. But some of it was applied by agencies outside of the human race to help the human race. And some of it was our endeavor in moments of challenge and difficulty, like Gandhi freeing India from the British. This is a miraculous application of the energy of love to an entire country, and the cooperation of people who joined him in doing that, to the point where they actually achieved freedom from a government that was oppressing India, with the temerity to think that it could own the entire country, as if it were just something out there for them to take over because they didn't have enough guns, money, and lawyers to keep them from doing it. So we are achieving success, but we need to grasp the intelligence of what it means to do it. We don't have a lot of Gandhis in the world who can see with their conscious mind how to use this and do this and apply it to a group situation and have enough popularity and personal charisma to make something like that happen. But he did. And there are others like him. And if we start inviting love into the human experience, you're going to find them coming forth to help out. But there's no point in them coming forth just to be attacked by the negative forces and destroyed. So we have to provide a playground for love, and then we have to populate it with good spirit and goodwill and see if we can get it going. We will, by the way. It's already happening. It's just the resistance to the increase in love in the world is causing a lot of fear and confusion and reaction, because these old forces and forms like Putin and Xi in China and Kim and North Korea and places, they're holding on. They're holding down tight to their control over the emotional and mental body of their people and telling them this is wrong, stay the course, keep going. We're just going to take over Ukraine, turn it into another part of Russia, and everything will be great. Except it belongs to the Ukrainians who have another point of view. And by forcing their will, by crushing their will and hopes and dreams to the will of the Russian government, you're violating the principles and laws of love. And this, in the end, will cause death, a loss of resources, and eventually the disunity of the government. And then we've got a big mess. So we need to awaken to this. We need to apply these things in ourselves. Now, what I've said here that's meaningful to me is that you're going to have to look at the idea of creating a sort of dual identity with yourself. Because if you step over into and live the conscious life that love offers you without any of the illusion and the glamour of human life in its ego, you wouldn't know what to do with it. It would look so different. The actions would be so different that it would just cause paralysis of desire, paralysis of activity, paralysis of thinking and processing ourselves. And so we don't want to try to do that. I'm not saying it's not possible. Every time someone dies, they have to go through the death process and back to a condition of living in love. And it's a very gradual and strange process that life is prepared to do for us. But when we come back into the world and are born again into another family, into another society, into another human experience, we start over again building our material basis of understanding life through matter. And somewhere in that process, we're going to teach each other how to include love in its higher frequencies in our human experience and cooperate with that great energy and develop that process that brings human life into the remarkable world leadership that is designed, the custodian of the planet that we are designed to be, and the giver of love to the lower kingdoms of animal, plant, and mineral, and begin to get this planet moving in a direction that will cause the angels to sing. So that's what we teach. That's what we're concerned about. And that's what this channel is going to talk about. It's going to talk about how we bring that great energy down into a process whereby it starts to function in us in harmony with the ego that we've already got. Now, it might sound like trying to teach a turtle to dance, but it's doable. It's doable. And a lot of people are far closer to it than they realize. They simply have not given themselves permission to have love functioning within them and the human life functioning within them and begin to develop the joy of bringing those two into an absolute unity. Now, this has been done before. The Christ, the Buddha, the spiritual masters, these beings that are upon the earth with us, that share this with us, they have made this journey and they remember the steps. They have written them down, they've taught them, they are willing to teach them again. They all take on new and modern concepts, but the lessons are the same. Grow up, grow into, and adopt human love. And they're laid out in stages. They're laid just like high school and college, and all of those functionaries have been taken from the design of life itself as we grow into the greater cosmic understandings. It's like most things in human nature, we borrowed it from nature around us. Sometimes supernature, sometimes like Velcro, we borrowed that from the plant kingdom. They know how to hook things up and stick to things and thereby survive. So let's look at this a little bit in ourselves and start working up the courage to act on something that you're not familiar with that could change your entire life, because it's coming towards you like a freight train and it needs to be recognized. Otherwise, you're going to react off of that super energy and you're going to think it might be something fearful or something to reject or something to avoid. and you will miss the train. Trains pull into stations. They wait till we get on or off, and then they leave. We don't want to miss our appointments in destiny. Each generation has a group of people in it that are going to seize this appointment in destiny coming up for us, and they're going to apply it to themselves, and they're going to show that to the rest of us, and we're going to look at it and go, wow, we never thought of that. And that's going to be the artists in your communities and the people who are courageous enough to reach into themselves and try new things and then show you what the result is and let you work out for yourself whether you would like that for you. So take a look around. They're already out there. They're starting to figure it out. Some of them are very young. Some of them are, like me, very old. But it's out there, and it's starting to come through. Starting to come through human personas, because there are people out there that have known this for a long time, and now it's starting to become an active application for human beings to apply. Not the way a Christ does it. He's already well past the stages we're at. He's graduated in a college all by himself in the cosmos. But we are just stepping in. First, we had to learn that it's real, that life is living, it's real, and it's throughout the universe, and it's making everything happen. That's a startling realization to have. You can call it God or love or whatever you want to be. Gaia, it doesn't matter. It's living, and it's real, and it's complex. That's the first step. Now the second step is applying that to your illusions and glamours and mayas, to your daily life, until you are merged in the activity with it. Then you're functioning with reality. Love is reality itself. And if it's outside of your human thinking and feeling and activity, then you are not living in the real world. You're living in an illusionary world of human crafting or your own madness. So let's work it out. I'm in for it. Other people are in for it. And it's not as complicated as you think. It's like everything else. Like building with Legos. Just put the first one out there and start clicking other ones to it, and pretty soon you've got an alligator. All right. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful 4th of July, wherever you are, and all your spider friends. And I will see you next time.
Don't you wanna know about love? Wanna know love? Don't you wanna know? Don't you wanna know?